Hello students, I am Ms. Sampurna Khound, Assistant Professor of Department of Economics, Durham College. Today I am going to discuss some basic concepts of economics which comes under the first unit of first semester of 4-year undergraduate degree program. In today's class, I am going to discuss about definition of economics, scarcity and alternative usability of resource, opportunity cost, demand, and elasticity of demand. Economics is the study of optimum utilization of scarce resources with the objective to satisfy unlimited wants and desire. So basically, economics studies about how the scarce resources can be used optimally to satisfy unlimited wants. The subject has been defined by many economists in different ways. According to Adam Smith, who also known as the father of economics, he defined economics was concerned with an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nation. He defined economics as a science of wealth in his book published in 1776. Another economist, Alfred Marcel, who has defined economics as economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and uses of material requisite of well-being. His definition known as the definition of welfare. Another economist, Lionel Robbins, in 1932, he defined economics as the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. His definition known as the definition of scarcity. Scarcity refers to a situation in which resources are insufficient to all human wants. The resources have alternative uses. So, we have the problem of allocating scarce resources so as to achieve the greatest possible satisfaction of want of the people. Thus, the problem of scarcity gives rise to some basic problems. And the reason of these basic problems are because the resources are limited in relation to their demand. And also, an economy cannot produce everything what the people want. And it is the basic reason for existence of economic problem in all economies. And also, human wants are never ending. They can never be fully satisfied because as soon as one want is satisfied, another new want emerges. So want of the people are unlimited and keep on multiplying. So we cannot satisfy all the wants with our limited resources. And also the resources have their alternative uses. The resources are not only scarce, but they have alternative uses. So it makes choice among resources more important. The basic economic problems can be defined as what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So what to produce? This problem involves selection of goods and services to be produced and the quantity to be produced for each selected community. Every economy has limited resources, thus cannot produce all the goods. So most of the goods or services usually means less of the other. And how to produce means because the production of the commodity and services have many techniques. So this is the problem refers to the selection of the technique to be used for the production of goods and services. And for whom to produce. This problem related to the distribution of the produced goods and services among the individuals within the economy. That is the selection of the category of peoples who will ultimately consume the goods. That is whether to produce goods for more poor and less rich or more rich and less poor. So these are the three basic questions actually for which we studies economics. Scarcity actually forced to make some choices, and this actually give rise to the concept of opportunity cost. So it is nothing but the cost of next best alternative foregone. For example, if you want to produce one of the good a certain amount of other good has to be sacrificed. With the help of production possibility curve, we can represent it. So production possibility curve is a graphical representation of alternative production possibilities facing an economy. In other words, we can say that a graphical representation of possible combination of two goods that can be produced with a given level of resource and technology. Production possibility curve can be better understood with the help of a schedule and a diagram. So in the schedule, we can see there are various production possibilities A, B, C, D, E, F. And there are two commodities has been taken. One is the rice and another one is the wheat. Now suppose in the diagram we can see that if the economy chooses to produce 15 units of wheat, then no amount of rice can be produced. On the other hand, if the economy chooses to produce 5 units of rice, then no amount of wheat can be produced. In between these 2 points, there are various other possibilities of combinations. So this production possibility curve, by joining these possibilities, by joining these different combinations, we will get the production possibility curve. So the production possibility curve shows the maximum limit of combination of two commodities, that is the rice and wheat. In economics, we basically studies about the behavior of two economic agents. And these two economic agents are, one is the producer and another one is the consumer. The consumers create demand in the economy and the producers supplied it. So when we are going to define demands, the demand is the quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing and able to purchase it at various given price during a given period of time. So demand for a commodity may be with respect to an individual or maybe it with respect to entire market. So when we studies about individuals, then it's called the individual demand, and when we studies the demand of the entire market, then it is the market demand. So demand function actually shows that it can be expressed as the quantity demand is a function of Px. The Px represents the own price of the commodity, and I here it represents the income of the individual, PR the price of related commodities, T for taste and preference of the individual consumer, and A advertising expenditure made by the producer of the commodity. Observe that people buy large quantity of a commodity or service at a lower price and lesser of it when the price increases. And this is the law of demand. According to this law of demand, other things being equal, if the price of a commodity falls, the quantity demand will rise, and if the price of a commodity rise, the quantity demand will decline. That means this law of demand establishes a inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. The law of demand can be better understood with the help of a table and a diagram. So the table shows the different combinations of the price and the quantity demanded. In the diagram, we can see that in the x-axis, we measure the quantity demanded, and in the y-axis, we measure the price. And DD is the demand curve, which slopes downward from left to right. So this curve is downward sloping because it shows the inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. As the price increases, the quantity demand goes on decreasing, and as the price goes down, the quantity demand will increase. And this law of demand actually based on certain assumptions. And the assumptions are like the commodity is normal, there is no change in taste, habit, and fashion of the consumer. There is no change in income or wealth of the consumer. There is no change in price of the related commodities. There is no expectation of future change in the price of the commodity. The goods are perfectly divisible. In case of inferior good, the law of demand is not applicable. The demand for inferior good is actually explained by Sir Robert Giffen. It's also known as the Giffen goods. In case of those commodity, the quantity of the commodity may be brought less as its price fall. On the other hand, in case of Veblen commodity, for example, gold, diamond, and luxury cars, these commodities confer a distinction upon the person in the society. So a rich person make larger purchase of such commodity as their price rises, because it provides him an opportunity to demonstrate that he is better off in comparison to other persons in the society. In case of such commodity, law of demand also not applicable. Influence of habit. So if a consumer is habitual of tobacco, liquor or other drugs, he will buy the commodities even if the price increases. Change in income also have some influence on the purchasing capacity. If the income of a consumer increases, even if the price increase, the consumer will buy that commodity. On the other hand, if the income fall, then even if price is less, the consumer will not buy that commodity. The influence of fashion. Sometimes actually due to the influence of fashion, the consumer buy more of a commodity even if the price increases. And the expectation of future price. If the consumer is expected that in the future the price of the commodity, certain commodity will increase, then he will buy those commodities even if the price increases, and this is actually known as the anticipatory purchase. Elasticity of demand. It refers to the degree of responsiveness of quantity demand of a good to a change in its price, consumer's income, and price of the related goods. The elasticity of demand can be measured by percentage change in demand for goods divided by percentage change in a factor of affecting the demand of goods. There are three dimensions of elasticity of demand. They are price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand. It is the ratio of proportionate change in quantity demand of a commodity to a given proportionate change in price. It can be measured by proportionate change in quantity demand divided by proportionate change in price. Income elasticity of demand. It is the ratio of proportionate change in the quantity purchased of a good to the proportionate change in income which induced the former. It can be measured by proportionate change in purchase of a good divided by proportionate change in income. Cross elasticity of demand. It is the degree of responsiveness of change in demand of one good in response to the change in the price of the another good. It can be measured by the proportionate change in the quantity demand of X divided by proportionate change in the price of the good Y. Today, I have discussed about some of the basic concepts of economics from the first semester. In the next class, I will discuss more elaborately the other topics from the first semester. Thank you.